Have you ever wondered how to make those crazy noises in Belgian jump up? Well, today I'm going to be showing you how. Welcome back to Inverse Audio. My name's 5X, and we're finally doing a Belgian jump up tutorial. If you've enjoyed the video, then please leave it a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, leave a comment with what you want to see next, and without any further ado, let's get right in the video. Okay, so today we're going to be starting the project from scratch. Now, Belgian jump up isn't something that I make regularly, so apologies in advance if it doesn't sound the best. I also only have an hour for this, so we're just going to be focusing on a drop for today. But the first thing I would usually start with is the drum loop, so let's get some drums. If you're interested in high quality samples, and the samples that I'm going to be using today is from our Inverse Audio Volume 3 sample pack. If you want an extra 10% off, you can use code YouTube10. So if we go into the jump up section and pick out some drums. So we're looking for a weighted kick. Something like this is perfect. And we're going to be doing a Belgian loop. So what you want to do is you want to miss out the second kick that you'd usually have. And every third kick where you would have this one usually, you want to move it over by a step. I'm going to adjust a sidechain to that as well. Next, we're going to use a snare that's going to sort of, well, it's more like a clap or a little snap. So we're going to layer a few. This could be the first one. Quite like this one, maybe we could try and layer that in. And maybe just like a clap on top of it. And actually, maybe we'll go for something like this. We could use that as the main body of the snare, and then the other two is just layers. Right, and then for hats, we're going to go for something a bit more gentle. So a hat every beat. And one every 2 beats, maybe that's a bit longer. I'm going to shorten it though still. So yeah, that's like a basic loop. And then we're going to add on a top loop on top of that. I'm going to change the BPM to 175. I think it's more fitting. Right, and then just quickly give these a mix. I'll lower the volume of the kick. I'm going to put a slight decapitator on the mix bus of the tops. And then on the snare, I'm going to do what I usually do, which is a transient shaper with the attack up. Then going to go in with some slight saturation. And then lastly, just clip it to make it really loud. I'm going to do the same for the kick. Give it a slight clip with a soft clip pro mode and give it some saturation as well. Cool, so that's our drum loop. Just going to duplicate that over. One folder that I'm going to be relying on a lot here is the one-shot bass folder that we have, which has some 83 one-shots, which are just, yeah. You know, you find a lot of stuff, which is just perfect for the genre, really. So mostly in Belgian jump up, you're going to be relying on one shots, whether those are ones you've created yourself or if just from anywhere else you can source them from. So I'm going to try and come up with a question and answer or call and response sort of melody. So I think this is pretty good for the A call. And then we're going to go into Serum and create the next one. Now, if you haven't downloaded these basic sound templates that we've got on our store for free, I would, highly recommend doing so. If you're struggling with how to make a particular sound, you can almost use these as templates, presets. So we got the basic grotto frog. It sounds quite good as it is, so I'm going to try and get a little pattern out of this. Probably want it to go a bit faster than that. So that's too fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this LFO, maybe just up the rate actually. Make it shorter again. Cool, and then we're going to add in a sub underneath that. So I'm going to go in with a basic sine wave and then add in bin 3 and bin 5 to give it some extra harmonics. So it looks something like a plateau, I guess. Lower the octaves and then add a bit of attack and release to get rid of the click. And then if you want more harmonics, then you can just turn on a filter and turn the drive up. I'm going to add that to the group. Cool. And then if you're ever struggling on where to place your basses, one thing that I would advise for you to do is use the sub as almost like the rhythmic tool. Just keep placing notes until you find a rhythm that sounds good, and then that sort of gives you a good indication of where your other basses can go. You can always make these unique and start pitching them up to get different tonality as well. Well, I mean, it sounds okay, but you're going to get a lot of the different tonalities and stuff when you're actually, applying effects in these. So one thing you can do is add on like a short reverb as well with a really small decay, just to almost put it into a space. And I'm going to do that for these two. Maybe a bit, you can automate the length of this maybe as well. Oh, and then I'm going to automate the mix on this one. And then for this sort of second bass that we've got, I'm going to add on an effector. Now, if you haven't heard of this, it's an FL Stock plugin, and a lot of people do use it in this sort of genre. You can play about with the flanger or the phaser. Another good one is the delay, and if you play about with the tempo, that's how you get some of those like ringing tonalities. And you can also stack these as well, so you can have more than one. Cool. And then let's just clean this sound up a bit with an EQ. We'll add on a riff as well. Get it really loud. I'm going to add on that delay effector after all the processing, so then it just doesn't sound as distorted or compressed. Well, let's try and maybe add in another bass. And we'll just make this pattern unique and extend the sub out on this one. Yeah, I'm going to try and add this bass for variation. So like once you have like a loop, you should be changing the sounds or the pattern that the sounds are playing. And this is so there's not too much variation. Obviously, the example I've got here isn't the best because I don't make jump up mainly, especially Belgian. So it's definitely, not a new territory for me, but not something that I have the most expertise in. So I think I might want to add a few, more normal basses. So I'm just going to go through some of the template presets and see what I can find. Yep, that sounds pretty decent. Maybe a bit of distortion, and that would sound pretty good. And then last, I'm going to be a bit lazy here. Just for some extra variation, I'm going to add in a Reese fill. I'm using the volume 3 presets. I know there's a really good Reese in the dance floor section, actually. Yeah, it's this one. Sounds perfect. All right, cool. Now we're going to sort of process this sound because it could be a lot harder hitting. Yeah, that's something like that. Perfect. And give it a rift. And then I'm going to add on a plugin called Mondo Mod from Waves. And there's this preset in here which gives the sound a nice tremolo. I believe it's the wow, or maybe, or the flutter, sorry. Cool, and then we're going to copy that over, add some variation. Now I'm thinking I want this to sort of drop down a bit in energy. And then we're going to remove the kicks and the snares for the first section here. Drop that energy a bit, remove this. And what I'm going to do is remove even the sub bass. I'm going to take this bass and this one that we've got. I'm just going to slowly bring it in, but like really reverbed and make this unique. Yeah, something like that works. Just adding a bit of variation. I'm going to automate the low pass. So something like this. And we'll move the frequency and create an automation clip. Bring it to the start and then have it go in something like this. So we want it to be brought back in all the way on this hit right here. So yeah, I mean, that's sounding pretty good. It's sort of all I have time for in terms of the drop. So let's quickly just do a build up. Start with a kick, pretty standard. And then we're going to go for a kick, snare, kick. So that's going to sound something like this. So you put the snare where you would usually put it, but then kicks every other sort of 2 beats. And then we can go a lot faster here, and then just stupidly fast the 1/16th, something like this. Be adding the top loop as well. And then I think it would be good to bring in this section that we had here right before the drop, sort of build up some tension, like so. Maybe we could do the same for this bass, where we just bring it in slowly. Because it sounds good, but that's not the first bass that comes in, so it just sounds a bit confused in terms of the structure. move it along a bit. Yeah, cool. And then we're going to automate the reverb on this one as well. So I'm actually going to add on a second one. It's got a bit of a longer decay time. And automate the mix again. Just move these up so we don't get confused. Well, that sounds pretty good. We'll get some risers and an atmosphere in there, and then, you know, that should be a pretty basic build-up, nothing too crazy. If we go to the effects section, actually, I'm going to grab this hat builder. Yeah, that sounds good. And we'll just bring that right here. Maybe like an exhaust as well, right at the start. Maybe a riser, 8-bar. I could try something weird like this. I think I'm going to just taper it out towards the end and obviously lower it a lot in the mix. Maybe give it a reverb as well, and then give it some risers as well. Just make sure the end right on that little bit. We'll just have 2 and then I'll layer them. Cool. And then we'll just mix these in. I'll lower this one, add on a Valhalla room. And then we'll just grab like an atmosphere maybe. So jump up loops, an atmosphere. Or something scary. Yeah, something like this. Gonna take this riser and then just shorten it a lot more. Lower it in the mix. Yeah, we'll lower that in volume. And take out the lows as well. Cool. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add in a hi-hat in the intro here that goes every bar, like so. And then I'm just going to automate some reverb with it. And then we're going to automate this reverb. But yeah, apologies for the shorter video, guys. So I have time for today, but I mean, I would say it's an awful effort for half an hour. There's definitely an idea here. From here, what I would suggest for you guys to do is, if you get to this point, is now start refining those ideas in your drop. So, you know, you definitely want to make things a bit more catchy, and, you know, don't be like afraid to experiment with swing. Not everything has to be on grid in Belgian. So yeah, definitely experiment with that. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you're interested into any one-to-one tuition, you want any sample packs or mixing and mastering, then head over to the website. Comment on what you want to see on the channel next. And without any further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.